We're recording now. I haven't updated my channel in forever because I'm busy. I opened a shop, as you can see. I got a bunch of stuff in here. Well, a lot of the drift cars are outside. But I still got my project. I'm gonna make some updates on that. I really haven't bought any parts for it. But we're gonna work on this today. This is my update for now. This is my Speed 3. It's my daily. See if I can get around to the side of it. It's pretty cool. It's got some nice rims on it. It's got a turbo upgrade already. It's got to be an RS3, and it needs the timing chain service done. It needs a clutch. So I went all out and I bought a bunch of shit. So I'll show you what I'm doing today. Today I'm going to be doing the timing chain service. Here's all the parts I've collected. This is a new gasket, valve cover gasket set. These are the lock washers for the camshafts and the crankshaft. OEM rear main seal, new timing chain. These are the tools that lock everything in place. I don't know what this little guy is. That's my tensioner. These are my guides back here. New flywheel bolts, oil pump chain and oil pump tensioner, new crank bolt. I also got a Fidonza flywheel for it. This is a Luke clutch, just the OEM one, because I wanted to retain a soft pedal. So that'll be going in there with the Fidonza and should free up a little bit of power. I'm upgrading my turbo yet again. This is the ATP GTX 3076. I got it apart because I'm porting out this housing. Some couplers. On top of all the parts I showed you, I have JBR intake coming, injector seals. I needed the third engine mount on the passenger side. I got that. That'll be doing the whole set. But today I'm going to do timing chain. I'm going to document it as best as I can. I'm going to paint some stuff. I got a thermal gasket for the intake when I do the injector seals. After this is all done, this car will be on an E85 blend. Some of the time I have two maps, this pump gas map and E85 map. Should be getting like 350 on the pump and touching 4s with the blend. It's got 180,000 miles, so let's see how tough these cars really are. I love this car, it's never let me down, it's fast, fun, so let's turn it up a notch. Alright, I'm going to start by removing this upper intercooler pipe. This little bracket's broken, so might get that fixed as well. And remove some of this harness. Get a lot of the wires and the coil packs and stuff out of the way, and then pull the valve cover. The first thing I'm going to do is put it on my lift because I'm not in my garage anymore. Alright, I got this thing racked. It's on the lift. I'm going to start taking the top apart like I said. This thing makes a really nasty rattling noise on cold starts, so that's why I'm doing this. And I got the updated VVT. All my parts came from Edge Autosport, and they're pretty good. I really can't lie, you know. I have to switch this to a 3.5-inch JBR intake, so this will be for sale. This cob I got, and let's get to it. This thing's dirty. I'm gonna clean the shit out of it and make it fast. Alright, so I got most of this harness off the top of this thing. It actually conveniently unplugs right there in that plug, and all these over here, and it's actually just one full piece, which is kind of cool. Got all the coil packs out. I got the charge pipe off of here. I had to take my intake out. My battery's gone. ECU's unplugged. Like I said, this broke on my intercooler pipe. I noticed, if you look closely right here, that right there, it's like chewed up. There's no holes in the pipe yet, but yeah, stuff I noticed. Something else I noticed was on this harness. This goes to my alternator, and this piece right here for my crank sensor, you can see like all the shielding is just off of it, so I'm going to make sure to cover that up real good before I put it all back. This is the crank sensor plug, alternator power plug, so something to look out for if you're doing this. I'm going to go ahead and remove the valve cover and the high pressure peel pump next. Alright, got the lines off the high pressure pump. I'm going to take this guy off, and then I'm going to take this housing off, and then I'm going to take this off. And after all that's off, I'm going to set the motor over, put in my timing tools, lock it down. I'm going to remove pretty much all that. I'm going to have to suck out the fluid here, suck out the fluid here, get this mount out of the way, and get the crank pulley off. That's after everything's set. So my next update will be in a few minutes. Alright, so the pump, there's a line down there I completely forgot about. 19 millimeter, got it off. Now I think, there we go. Boom. Hope you're ready for some ethanol, little pump. Alright. Go after this little housing right here. This guy. And just a couple 10 millimeters on the side. Gonna knock him out with this guy. And be right back. Alright, I got this guy off. The pump, the housing. There's a little sleeve in here. I'm not quite sure where it fell out. I think it goes in there. But gonna have to do some research to find that out. When I took that thing off, it made a mess, so I'm gonna hit it with some brake cleaner. I got a drain pan underneath to catch all the fluid. It caught a lot of gas, a lot of oil. Now it's about to catch some brake cleaner. Alright, valve cover's off. This little guy stays here. The valve cover pulls off around him. I cleaned up the deck a little bit. It's still a little dirty, but it was really nasty. So I wiped that down. Coolant reservoir is gone. Power steering, I just kind of put it to the side here. Got a little bungee cord holding it down. I'm going to suck all the fluid out of this and replace it all. I'm also going to do a coolant flush and replace my water pump. So I'm going to raise the car up and drain the coolant. I also took this mount out, as you can see, and the bolts right here on the water pump pulley. It's hard to see, but the bolts on the water pump pulley, I'm going to break those loose before I take the belt off, or it's a real pain in the ass. So, I'll be back. Alright, so I put the little purple plug in. I removed the bolt was there, replaced that. I turned the crank until it stopped, clockwise. This is holding the crank counterweight. So when I set the car down, technically, this tool should fit this cam locking tool here. This guy. So, let's see if I'm right. The cams look pretty flat. Alright. Looks like it's going in there pretty good. Snap in there good. I'm almost in there. I'm gonna give it a little taparoo. If I can find my fucking hammer. Okay, I can't find a hammer. Kind of annoying. I just had it. Whatever, I'll use my expensive... Oh, there's my hammer. On the floor. Alright. There, timing plate is in. The motor should be locked at this point. I should be able to take everything apart without messing anything up. I'm now going to go after the front cover. Alright, so coolant's draining. Last little bit's coming out right now. I gotta pick up a new water pump. Now, this little bucket that fell out of this housing, I cleaned this housing really good, as you can see. It looks brand new. Make sure there's nothing up in this bore. This is actually a bucket, and it goes in this way with the flat top in, and the cam actually touches the top of this. This is what the cam pushes on, and it compresses. This pretty much goes like that. Boom. The cam compresses this thing. Pump, 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 pump. It pumps it up. So I'm taking a little bit of this grease that I got here. I'm gonna. It's kind of hard to do this one-handed, but I just lubed up the bore real good. It's just like a bucket on that's on the valves, really. So with this thing, I'm just gonna cover it up like this, as you can see, and I'm gonna stick him in there. He goes in nice and smooth. You don't hear any grinding from any dirt or anything. I'm pushing it back and forth. I don't hear any dirt in there because I cleaned it so good. So that's how I'm gonna leave it until reassembly. I clean all this grease off for the new gasket and whatnot. But that's just a little step that I take when I do these for people. It's my first time actually documenting it. So, and there's actually an O-ring on here. I replaced that guy too. So just I hate annoying oil leaks. So this is my precautions. All right, so oh shit, I set this mount back on and just put everything on finger tight so I can raise the car back up so the engine doesn't fall. I got the belt off, as you can see. The water pump pulley is off, that little triangle right there. Gonna replace the water pump, and I'm gonna have my buddy come over and hold the brake for me and put it in gear, and I'm gonna break this bolt loose, and after that this front cover should come off pretty quickly. Alright, I got this pulley off. I had to use the impact gun. I had to put the bolt back in to turn the motor over to lock it. Power steering's off. It's kind of like a mess over here. Coolant reservoir is completely disconnected. I'm going for this front cover now, and I'm gonna switch that water pump out right there. And yep, getting there, almost to the halfway point, thank God. Alright, so I got the cover off. Oh, hold on, get the light on there. There we go. Completely disassembled. Engine looks okay. But I'm gonna replace a bunch of shit in here. Here's the cover. I'm gonna clean that up and clean it off. During all this time, I've been painting this guy. Got a nice gray on him. And yeah. Alright, got it all stripped down. I'm going after that chain for the oil pump next and that tensioner. And then I'll be ready to reassemble everything. Here's all the parts. Both guides, the tensioner, the chain, and the old VVT. I'm going to take this VVT apart and see if it's broken inside. I'll make a video in a second on that. But right now I'm hungry. Gotta get some lunch. Peace. Here's the VVT taken apart. Not sure if it was completely fucked or not, but it was making noise, so it's getting changed. Alright, I got the sprockets off of the crank. You can see it's completely bare, the chain's off, and all the tensioners. I got a new chain for the oil pump, and just this, I forgot to get the other guide, but we're just gonna rock with what we got. So, put this together. Alright, I got the 3 friction washers on the crank ready. I replaced the chain, as you can see, and the guide, and I put the new tensioner on. I gotta tighten those up right now. And I put the new cam on, or the gear on, with a new friction washer. I'm now got the new VVT. I'm gonna drop the washer down in there. Alright, got my new washer in there. I'll put it over my new bolts that I got with my kit. Trying to touch the surface. Oh. Come on. There we go. So I'm gonna have to work it down with 2 hands, but you get the idea. And then I'm gonna install it. All right. Cool, my light's dying as soon as I turn it on. Anyway, I got everything on here. This stuff is loose, so it kind of turns a little bit. The next step right now is to pull this little thumbtack guy out. Make sure everything is loose still. Should be able to turn them. Everything's turning nicely. Pull this guy out. There he is. It's like a funny thumbtack. And then we're gonna turn everything. Turning. And it likes to tighten this bolt right here, so you gotta watch that. But I'm turning it. Get all the slack over here. I got good chain tension. Now my car won't make that fucking noise when it starts up in the cold morning. And it'll be ready for this big turbo. There's a guide that goes down here. These two bolt holes. And it broke into 3 pieces, as you can see here. So I'm waiting on that. I was going to try to do this in one day, but apparently that's going to hold me back. I got the part on order. It'll be here tomorrow. So, with that being said, I'll pick up the project tomorrow and we'll finish it up. My valve cover came out really nice. So I'm pretty happy about that. It's got some nice flick in it. And it's pretty consistent. Not bad for a rattle can, to be honest. It looks pretty professional. There's one little spot right here that I could find with it, but it's pretty glossy. I'm pretty happy with it. Wow, so that's pretty much it for today. My car is a mess. It's not done. I'm at to borrow my friend's car and go home. Hopefully he'll let me borrow it. And he could drive this race car to work, which I don't think he'll mind too much. But tomorrow I'm going to finish it. And then after that, we're going to do the clutch in another episode, and then turbo upgrade. I think we're going to go through the motions of getting it tuned with pump gas, and then adding UV5 and getting some revisions, and maybe give you some first impressions. I use Freak Tune, and my car's lasted a long time, so let's see what happens. I was really hoping to get this done today, but can't win them all, you know. Until next time.